My name is Dominique Lyric, and I am so excited to be partnering with the Africa International House as we celebrate Kwanzaa virtually this year. Today, I'm going to be bringing you an exclusive Cooking Live with Lyric experience where we're going to be making a delicious shrimp and grits recipe. I promise you, this is a recipe that's tried and true, and every time I make it, it gets better. So let's get into the ingredients list. You're going to want to have 12 to 15 deveined shrimp, 4 to 6 slices of bacon, minced garlic, half of an onion, half of a red bell pepper, salted or unsalted butter, smoked Gouda, quick 5-minute grits, salt, pepper, Creole seasoning, heavy whipping cream, and chicken stock, and fresh parsley or dry parsley to garnish. One thing I will always swear by is that every time I make my grits, I need a whisk. That is my key ingredient. In order to make amazing grits, I have to have a whisk. So if you don't have one, this is the time to go get one because a fork or a spoon is not gonna cut it, at least not for my grits. So if you have a way to make your grits without a whisk, DM me. But until then, I'm gonna promise you that this whisk is gonna change your life. Also, I always have my handy dandy tongs. So kitchen tongs are probably top 3 most important things to have. It helps just picking things up, and this becomes my next or 3rd pair of hands. So this is actually something I swear by, and I promise you it makes your life a little bit easier. All right, so first what we want to do is we want to start our bacon. That is how we're going to get all of that good bacon grease and fat, and that's what we're going to cook our shrimp in, followed by the vegetables. So it's just going to all kind of marry together and make a really delicious base for the shrimp and grits. So go ahead and coat your skillet with extra virgin olive oil. I have already coated mine, and I'm putting it on medium to high heat. If you're like, what is coating? Literally, take your olive oil, and I always say, drizzle, 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 drizzle. And that's enough, no matter how big or small. I promise you. Just stick with me, do a little drizzle, 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 shimmy, and you're gonna be good. All right, make sure your hands are washed, and let's go ahead and put the bacon in. You hear that? Nothing really happened. That means it's not dancing. It wasn't hot enough. I did that on purpose because sometimes we put our food in prematurely and it's not hot enough, guys. You want it to dance when it get in the pot. If it's not dancing and singing, it's not ready. So it's kind of singing, but we want the whole choir to be singing. We need sopranos, altos, and tenors. Right now we got a weak alto who forgot her part. So we want to make sure the skillet is hot enough for us so we can get a really delicious crispy piece of bacon. All right? All right, I think it's time for us to put the bacon in. Now that's the whole choir. The tenors came in on time. The altos didn't sound weak today. They rehearsed, they practiced, and of course the sopranos, they on point. Yes, I'm biased on the sopranos. So we want that heat to be at medium. You got it real good at high, medium to high heat. Know your stove. Every stove is not created equal, folks. So if your stove gets crazy hot, make sure you take it down. What we don't want right now is to be having a fist fight with our food because that means it's too hot. Reduce the heat and stay cool and calm in the kitchen. Nobody has time for nobody running out the kitchen or getting popped in the eye by grease. Not cute, not fun. But for right now, let's go wash our hands because the bacon juice is not cute. All right, it's smelling amazing. And it's gonna take maybe about, I would say 2 to 3 minutes before we turn it. If you have it really hot, it should be about 2 to 3 minutes. And then we're gonna just turn it over for another about 3 to 4 minutes. And what we wanna do is just make sure it gets nice and crispy. So you might wanna repeat that 2 times until you get really crispy bacon. All right, bacon is cooking up really nicely, and I love a good multitasking moment. So let's go ahead and season our shrimp because our bacon is just about done. And right as soon as we take out the bacon, we want to go ahead and put our seasoned shrimp in. So the shrimp is really easy actually. You don't have to overcomplicate this. I get a Creole seasoning. I get this brand, and I just take about, I would say it was about a tablespoon to season to coat all of your shrimp really nice and evenly. I'm just gonna eyeball mine. You want them to be coated really well. You don't want to skimp on the seasoning, y'all. Like, this is the flavor. This is where you don't want to, you know, take a bite of a piece of shrimp and you're like, that's not seasoned. That's not what we want. We want this to be jam-packed with flavor. And then when that bacon grease gets in, whew, it's gonna be everything. So, as you can see, I just take my hand. You gotta get a little messy with it. And I season it like so. Just toss it, just like that. Nothing to it. This is not science. Just move your hand like so. And that's it for your shrimp. Nothing overly complicated. Go ahead and wash those hands. I can see you. All of you who don't be washing your hands, y'all, that's nasty. Okay. Let me get my bacon out. Nobody want burnt bacon. This is real good and crispy because you want to have that crunch because that's going to be what really makes your dish just have layers of different texture and flavor. Crispy, crunchy bacon, soft, creamy grits, the really delicateness of the shrimp. It's going to be off the chain. Okay, let's go ahead. Don't turn your heat down. We are literally going to leave that bacon fat, all of that grease in there. We're going to put the shrimp in right behind it. And it should dance when it get in the pot. Yeah, it's dancing. I am going to reduce the heat just a touch because I don't like Smoky Joe's barbecue in here because we're not making barbecue today. So we don't want it to get so crazy smoky in here to the point where, you know, you fanning, you coughing. We want to cook with control in the kitchen. Confidence in the kitchen comes with taking a step back, making sure you have the heat at a good level so that you are fully in control. The better you get, the higher the heat you can cook at, but that just requires you to do a little shuffle a little bit faster because it's going to dance faster, which means you got to dance faster. All right. Put the shrimp on in here. And we're going to cook the shrimp for about 2 minutes on each side. We don't want to overcook these shrimp, y'all. Nothing worse than having overcooked shrimp. Nobody wants that. It gets rubbery and it's just gonna ruin the whole feng shui of this amazing dish. So let's go ahead and get those cooked. And again, you saw I washed my hands again now. As you can see, our shrimp, they're cooking up nicely. Just soaking up all of that bacon grease. As you can see, the shrimp almost become blackened shrimp. Because of that bacon grease, it gets that dark crispiness that we really, really love, and it's gonna just get all of that good flavor. Woo. Okay, now it's time to take the shrimp out, and we wanna get our veggies in. So like I said, we don't wanna overcook these shrimp. Just gonna make a spot for them next to the bacon. You can't go wrong. Go ahead and take those out. It smells so good. I hope it smells just as good as it smells in my kitchen. My dog, he woke up. He's like, what's going on? Can I get a piece? All right, we're just gonna set that to the side. And I actually would like to drain some of this off. Right? I love cooking in the bacon grease, but I don't want too much for the vegetables. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit, about half of that off. Just a touch. Just to leave a nice coating. Now we're gonna add our veggies. So I have a tablespoon of minced garlic, and I have half of a chopped onion, and half of a red bell pepper. So we're gonna just go ahead and put that right into the same skillet. And you see, my heat not hot enough. I had turned it down. It's okay, we all make mistakes. We fall down, but we get up. So let me turn that back up because we don't hear any dancing going on, and that's not what we want. But we can go ahead and take our tongs and kind of coat it in that bacon grease because why not? And we're gonna cook that. We want it to sweat out. We don't wanna have the vegetables too translucent. We still want them to have a little bit of bite. We don't wanna sweat them out completely. Just from a texture standpoint, everyone has their own preference. But I like to leave a little bit of bite to my vegetables for this recipe specifically, because I think it just gives another layer of texture and flavor. And sometimes when you make it too translucent and sweat it out, sometimes I just feel like they dissolve in my mouth and I don't even taste them. There it goes. We hear that dance going on now. All right. We're gonna let those hang out. Oh, but we can't forget our minced garlic. Go ahead and put that in too. So we just want that to cook together like so. We're gonna cook that down, I would say about 3 to 4 good minutes. So our veggies have been sauteing for a couple minutes and we wanna add our chicken broth to this. Now we're gonna start combining everything. So I use about 1/3 of a cup, or about 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup of chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock, so don't worry. You just add that directly to the skillet with the vegetables. So you have your onions, your minced garlic, your red bell pepper. We just added our chicken stock or vegetable stock. I'm gonna just give this a little toss. My spoon. Just give that a nice stir, just to blend all of those flavors together. Because this is going to give you your au jus. When you pour over the delicious grits, it's really just going to be like, ah. The soprano will come through and hold that note. All right, so this is where what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and let this hang out for another 30 seconds. And what we end up doing is we chop up our bacon, we throw the shrimp back in there, and we cook that for about a minute or two. And we just combine all of that beautifulness and we take it off the heat and we focus on our grits next, which I love the most. Now look at that. I've coarsely chopped our bacon and I added the shrimp to that. Look how delicious that looks. Just give it a nice mix. I'm gonna put some fresh parsley on this. Cook this together for about a minute to 2. We're gonna turn the heat off and we're gonna focus on our grits. Ooh, it smells so good. So I went ahead and put our fresh parsley on top. And we're gonna just turn this heat off, remove it from the heat, and we are ready for our grits. So now we're a little bit more up close and personal because I need you to see exactly what I'm doing to these grits. First rule of thumb, grits are not something you just let the Holy Spirit take over or whatever kind of spirit take over. You need a measuring cup. I say that for beginners and experts because a lot of people think that some magical something is just gonna tell them exactly how to make these grits, and that's how you end up with lumpy grits. So in case somebody's side-eyeing me or using measurements on this, this is how I've mastered making grits, delicious, creamy grits, and people who can't make, who've made terrible grits in the past have followed this exact recipe. And when I tell you they have the exact same results, they have it because we're being precise. So this is the one thing that you'll hear me swear by. Be precise on this dish. All right, we're gonna do 2 cups of liquid to 3/4 a cup of grits. That will give you about 2.5 full nice servings of grits. So go ahead. Some people choose to use water. In order to make my grits, I like to do either a cup of water and a cup of heavy cream, or for a richer flavor, which is what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do a cup of chicken stock and a cup of heavy cream. And we're gonna bring that to a nice boil. So let's go ahead and do that. Turn your fire on. Go ahead and get your chicken stock. This is critical. You wanna make sure that you get a really good boil going so that your grits aren't just sitting in liquid. I know, I just looked at myself. I know when I first started making grits, I'm like, how come my grits are turning out disgusting? And it was because I didn't know about the boiling method. Like I'm like, I would get impatient, like I'm just gonna add the grits. And they looked like impatient grits because I wasn't patient enough to wait for them to boil properly. So 2 cups. So 1 cup of the heavy cream, 1 cup of the chicken stock. And we're gonna wait patiently for that to come to a boil. This is the moment where you can go wash your hands, you can go do a funky good dance, or you can do a cleanup, which is what I'm about to do. So as our grits start coming up to a boil, I'll just add a tablespoon of butter. As it starts to kind of sizzle a little bit, we just go ahead and throw that little butter in there and we wait for it to boil. Okay, so our grits, they are getting ready to come up to that boil. As we wait for it to come up to a boil, what we want to do is go ahead and grate our smoked Gouda. So I use the apple smoked Gouda. It is my absolute favorite. It takes this recipe to the next level. So let's go ahead and get our cheese grater and grate that while we wait for this to come up to our boil. All right, so now our grits are just about ready. They're boiling. I already grated our smoked Gouda cheese. I would say to grate about 1/3 of a cup. And then if you want more, you can always add more. But I always say we don't want this to be just a ooey gooey cheesy grit. We want the cheese almost to melt in, but melt in a very creamy kind of way. We're not looking for huge cheese pools here. We're looking for that smoke flavor to really kind of take over that grit and for it to be really creamy. All right, it's bubbling to the surface. So I'm just gonna reduce my heat just slightly because it's to just simmer down. And let's go ahead and put our 3/4 of grits in. And where's my measuring cup? Here it is. 3/4. So don't go all the way up. Go ahead and pour that right on in. And this is the fun part. This is when you get your arm workout in because we don't stop whisking, okay? This is all core and arms. At least that's what I made up, but we want to whisk, and we don't stop for about a minute. We don't stop. Be careful to make sure it's not popping on you like it's probably popping on me. But we are going to whisk this and whisk it on that same heat. You'll notice that your grits, you'll notice that what happened was that the boiling sensation kind of went away because we're whisking so quickly, so it shouldn't be like boiling over or anything like that. So we just keep whisking. We keep whisking. We're gonna whisk, whisk, whisk. Give it another 10 seconds. And we're gonna reduce heat. Reduce it to about low so it can kind of come to a simmer, but not a boil. You wanna reduce that heat so you'll start to see little bubbles popping sporadically in different places. Keep whisking. Go back and whisk some more. So you'll see it's kind of come down. You see those big bubbles? Go ahead and add your smoked Gouda cheese now. You might say, you didn't season that water. You didn't season your liquid. I didn't because it's so much richness in what I put in. So that chicken stock, the salted butter, I use Irish butter. So that's rich in flavor. And then you have the heavy cream. So I did not want to over season this. Now, it's going to cook slow and low. So I put my whisk to the side and I take this spoon, this spatula, folding spatula, and I just fold it. And I fold it. When I say folding, I'm literally just using this this movement here. We're folding. And you can see there are no lumps. This is like cream. It is so creamy and so rich and just delicious. Oh my God. This is going, and you can smell the Gouda. It smells so good. And you don't have any lumps because we put in all of that arm work in that. And we never walk away when we're making our grits. You never walk away. This is the time that, like, if you want us to give something some love for the week, this is the thing you want to give love to for a good solid 5 minutes. It's a sweaty moment of love because you start getting hot. But it's worth it. It is worth it. So I'm just going to actually turn my heat completely off because these grits, they ready. Woo, they are ready, and we are ready to plate our food because guess what? Our shrimp is already hanging out over here. It's already just sitting here. It's perfectly warm still. We're gonna put it right on top of our smoked Gouda grits. So let's get ready to plate. All right, y'all, this is my favorite part, the plating. So I have these really, really cute dishes that are just so cute for serving. And I figured why not use them tonight for our delicious dish. So let's put our grits right in. And this is how I like to be served. So I like to serve others exactly how I like to be served. So we put our creamy grits just like that. We're gonna go in and put our shrimps right on top just like that. Oh my God, look at that. Looks amazing. The crispy bacon, our juicy plump shrimp. Look at that. My dog is woke. He's like, okay, now give me some of that. Can't go wrong with bacon on top. A little fresh parsley. And boom, there you have it, y'all. Shrimp and grits for our Kwanzaa celebration and feast. Beautiful. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much, everybody, for cooking live with Lyric. I had a really great time cooking with each and every one of you, and I hope you enjoy your shrimp and grits recipe. This recipe is so simple and so delicious. I hope every time you make it, you think of me. Special thank you to the Africa International House for this awesome opportunity to cook with your community. Happy Kwanzaa, everybody, and until next time, bye.